This is the second and final installment of our security series on Dateline Abuja, and we're continuing our conversation with the police force public relations officer. What kind of policing are we experiencing in Abuja, and what should we expect from the police in the coming weeks? I shared some of my interfaces with insecurity in Abuja on this episode, and my guest provided some out-of-the-box solutions to insecurity problems. So sit back, relax, and learn. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I am Kayla Magwa. Let's begin as we usually do with a rundown of the major stories this week from Nigeria's presidency.
President Bola Tinubu has pushed for the inclusion of Nigeria in the United Nations Security Council and the G20, an intergovernmental forum comprising 19 sovereign countries, the European Union and the African Union. This formed part of the discussion when the president received the United States Secretary of State, Mr. Anthony Blinken, at the presidential villa in Abuja. The Secretary of State said the U.S. is committed to strengthening partnerships on the continent, and Nigeria is essential to that effort.
We want to work in partnership to help drive Nigeria's technological revolution, which is creating jobs, it's growing businesses, and it's spurring innovations in both of our countries. We very much appreciate Nigeria's leadership in ECOWAS to try to move to a return to the constitutional order and democracy in Niger after it's been disrupted. And we talked about building on the important summit that President Tinubu shared in December to try to see Niger get back onto the continent.
President Bola Tinubu has assured traditional rulers in the South-South geopolitical zone that his administration is committed to addressing their concerns over development and environmental degradation. The president gave the assurance at the State House during a meeting with the South-South Monarchs Forum, led by Vice Chairman of the South-South Monarchs Forum, His Royal Majesty, retired Major General Felix Mujagbero. President Bola Tinubu has directed the management of the Nigeria Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, to expand its focus area by extending interest-free loans to Nigerian students interested in skill development programs. The president issued the directive at the State House after a briefing from the Executive Secretary of the fund, Mr. Akintunde Sawyer, on the build-up to the launch of the program later in the month. The president said it is important for the scheme to accommodate those who may not want to pursue university education, noting that skill acquisition is as important as obtaining undergraduate and graduate academic qualifications. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has asked all area council chairmen and traditional rulers to set up vigilante groups in various communities in their area. The minister gave the directive during a meeting with the area council chairmen and traditional leaders over the security situation in Abuja. He also says the federal government will embark on more demolition of shanties in the FCT as a way to uncover illegal occupants and criminals. The minister also announced plans to roll out the FCT-owned buses and cars and begin the profiling of drivers. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has ordered the construction of 2 access roads in Kwali Area Council as part of efforts to tackle insecurity in the nation's capital. The Minister of the FCT gave the directive during an interface with political and traditional leaders as well as residents of the Area Council. Mr. Wike also disclosed that the procurement of operational vehicles for security operatives in the FCT will soon be concluded. Primary school teachers in Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory have staged a protest to demand the immediate payment of the backlog of salaries and promotion arrears since the year 2019. The protesting teachers who gathered at the Unity Fountain in Abuja accused the FCT Area Council's authorities of neglecting the welfare of primary school teachers in the Federal Capital Territory. The teachers, who have been on strike for over 1 week, are calling on President Bola Tinubu and the FCT Minister, Mr. Nyesom Wike, to intervene and end the ongoing industrial action. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, says more stringent laws should be put in place as penalty for criminals. Mr. Wike also appealed to residents of the FCT to desist from talking down on the efforts of security operatives, insisting that they are working tirelessly to secure the FCT and bring bandits carrying out different criminality to book. The minister was speaking at a media charge with journalists in Abuja.
As we wrap up our security series on Dateline Abuja, the police force public relations officer, Muyiwa Adejobi, speaks to us on what has caused this insecurity in the FCT, what the FCT administration and the FCT minister are focusing on in conjunction with the security agencies. response times to security breaches, intelligence gathering, and securing interstate boundaries. How are security operatives like the police going to leverage on technology that doesn't exist to be able to identify these criminals in the city center? I keep telling the story of how I was robbed and beaten up inside the city center by the 3-arm zone. By 3-arm zone. It wasn't at night. It was at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Myself and one of my colleagues. And we thought about it. That whole area is supposed to be one of the most secure places. If I could be robbed there, and so many other people have talked about being robbed around Ministry of Finance. If these things are happening in the city center, these places I come, for those who don't live in Abuja, these places are not in Wuse or in Garki. They're not in the outskirts either. This is the center at Federal Secretariat. If people are being robbed there and one-chance vehicles are happening at Area 1 and all of these places, how are we going to ensure that this place is safe without the technology necessary for it to be made safe?
There are so many things you need to consider in these issues you have raised. One chance is not like kidnapping. And like I said, one chance is what we can easily control. I don't subscribe to the fact that people blame security operatives for one chance. We need to blame people who are not patient enough to board vehicles. There's no city in Nigeria, there's no big community in Nigeria that doesn't have a registered park. But people take things for granted. They don't want to go to park. We are so lazy to cross pedestrian bridges. We don't do it because we are lazy. And we take things for granted because what happens? No. We violate certain things at our own detriment. You don't need to stand by the roadside and flag down a vehicle. A marked vehicle. You flag down the vehicle, you see, as a young lady, you see almost 4 guys in this vehicle. You are the only female passenger in this vehicle. Yet you don't care. You join them to go. One chance operators, they just watch you. They don't carry arms. It's very rare they carry arms. They leverage on your carelessness, overzealousness. You want to go from Garki, you want to go to Lugbe. What's the big deal about it in waiting or patronize some of these registered parks and garages? Yeah. The Federal Capital Territory Administration had made announcement of parks and garages in FCT. How many of us go to that place? Go when you close in the evening, closing at 4, 5, 6, you see people standing by the roadside. Abuja system is very cheap that you can see a cab of anything. You can even negotiate to take you to where you're going to. You cannot do both, you cannot do Uber. So for one chance, it's what you can control. I don't need to be in a rush to enter any vehicle. These vehicles are not marked. They're not painted Abuja number. Abuja has a number, commercial number. Movement, inter-city movement is basically for commercial vehicles that have been registered for such a purpose in the Federal Capital Territory. Not only FCT, most of our cities. The same thing is happening in Lagos. We have bus stops, parks, garages in Lagos too. But you see how people just prefer to say, hey, that's what they do. Going, they stop, they go. You don't know the driver, you don't know anything. So that is what we can easily control without even involving security operatives. Then for the CCTV camera, there was a time the Abuja was having CCTV cameras all over. CCTV controlled. What happened? They stole them all. They stole these cameras. What happens to the manhole is the same thing. I was coming to channels now. All the one along your this road to channels television, everything has been stolen. It's an act of patriotism.
Okay.
It's
as much as this.
Excuse me. No matter what government, do you know how much the federal government spent to install those cameras, and some people just went. Do we need to waste our energy on protecting these facilities instead of facing serious crimes? But because somebody is wicked, somebody is callous, and somebody is not patriotic, to go and remove...
Infrastructure is supposed to be protected.
It is protected. That's why you see, I could see the commandant of NSCDC, Abuja Commandant Olumide was there, and he addressed this matter. You know, majorly it's the job of NSCDC to protect some of these facilities. But despite that, this is not the time to say it's my job to do, it's your job to do. The military, the police, and paramilitary agencies, they come together now Like yesterday when the president addressed them, all of them were there addressing them. The joint operation in FCT involves all the agencies, not only the police and NSCDC. Fine, if you are protecting this, how much more Nigerians and residents of Abuja are protecting all these things? These are simple things. You don't need to wait for a uniformed man or a security operative to protect. We overlook things. You see people removing cameras. How many times have they challenged them that, are you working for government? Are you working for the police or DSS or FCDA to remove this camera? People see them when they remove these cameras. They see them when they remove the manholes and all what have you. So what are we now saying? So we like to apportion in blames. We like to heap blames on the government and individuals. We've forgotten that we are part of the system. Whatever happens in the system, you have a civic responsibility to be incorporated into security system or networking of your community. But we take things for granted. We feel unconcerned because they think it's for those who are paid security agents. We are paid security agents, but every Nigerian is a security agent. Forget about we that we actually sign for it and we are paid to do the job. But we have a role to do. If the law of the land says, I think Section 12 of the CPA, Criminal Procedure Act, is saying, empowers you as an individual to effect an arrest. If you see somebody doing something wrong, if you know you can actually arrest that person conveniently without causing any harm to you, you go ahead and do a handover.
That is where I wanted to bring it up, because I have so many personal experiences. Well, I don't know, I can't say unfortunately. Fortunately, I have been living in the FCT since the 90s. So I have watched a lot of things happen in this city. My brother was stabbed on Christmas Day because he was trying to stop a scavenger. A scavenger came to the front of my parents' house and the person was trying to throw dustbin. My brother came out and confronted this scavenger, not violently, because we were all there to stop him. And the reason why he was stopping the scavenger was because the smell from whatever it is he's dumping was going to affect the house. And trying to stop this person, and he was stabbed. If the hospital wasn't so near us, I don't think he would have been able to make it. The critical question is, while citizens want to be able to do their bit, there's also the fact that we need the security agencies to be available to us, to be people that we can call up. You're calling a number. I was going to get to the emergency numbers, at least for the FCT or for the force command.
Generally across the country.
For general across the country, to be able to call for help or to be able to report things. We see other parts of the world where there are short codes. There are short codes in some states in Nigeria. But when it comes to the FCT, it's the long numbers that they're asking people to call. And even with that, response time. So let's get to that. When someone is in danger or someone sees a crime happening around them, how can they get you to be there? Not you in particular, I mean, but to get the police to be there immediately. What's the response time? And what are you doing about these complaints that these response times are not being realistic? That it's not happening.
Well, I know for now, the Federal Capital Territory you used to know in the last 2 months is not the same thing. You can see things changing on a daily basis. I've been told that there is a strong command and control center that the FCDA is constructing, almost done, if it's not done. And I think the FCT Minister, Dr. Yisan Wike, is going to unveil this very soon. We are trying to link that command and control center with the police command and control center. And there are some CCTV cameras that has been installed and they will still be installed. Some of them are not noticeable. We don't want people to actually see some cameras we are installing now. So with the new technology, you'll be able to monitor and police the whole Federal Capital Territory. We have advised that they should extend such to the suburbs so that whatever it is, we can actually monitor some of the suburbs. We actually want to embrace electronic policing this time around with the use of technology. So with what we are going to experience any moment from now in the Federal Capital Territory, it's going to be easier to police the Federal Capital Territory. You see the issue of NIN-SIM policy too. There are so many things to speak to, but there's no need for us to engage and be having an unnecessary argument. What we need to do is to make sure we cry to the federal government to intervene when there's need for them to intervene. There are many things unknown to members of the public. Security agencies at times face issues, but there is need for us to cry to the NSA now that we have another NSA. We have a new president. We have new set of people on board. We have new ministers.
They've been around for more than 6 months.
We have assumed some of the old problems, the cases we have. We have presented this to them, and I'm sure things will change for good. But in most cases, if you don't find out, don't blame security agencies and don't indict them. But there's need for all ministry, department, and agencies to work with us so that we can get it right. We face many things internally that we don't need to be discussing and coming on here to say, because it's going to be shameful things to us. But let's now that we are presenting some of these challenges to the government, they are handling these challenges, and I'm very sure everybody will be on his toes. We're going to fasten our best to do the right thing so that I can get it right. Everybody knows now that it's time to kick and fight against some of these crimes and criminality. There's no need for us to be apportioning blames to anybody. All security agencies will come together, whether we like it or not. It's compulsory now. Ministry, department, and agencies must work with us, whether we like it or not. And members of the public have seen. You see some communities now, they don't sleep again. Everybody is now a police officer, is
Vigilante
now vigilante man.
everywhere.
You see them carrying torchlights. We have tendencies of doing this. We have tendencies of supporting security agencies around us. But because we take things for granted, we think they have been paid. What's my business? Some will say, this is not my father's tax they are using to pay them. Even those who are not paying tax, who are grossly involved in tax evasion, they are the first to tell you, is it not my tax money they are using to pay them? You pay people's salary doesn't mean, even your drivers, if you pay them, you must still be nice to them. You must still assist them in doing one or two things. Your own drivers that you pay. Your housemaid you pay. Are you saying because you pay them salary, if they have issues, they have challenges, you're not going to assist them? No, you pay security operatives. Fine, you pay them. We are not saying we are doing for free. We are being paid. But that doesn't mean you are going to leave security business to security agents who are paid agents, the so-called paid agents, and you are not going to do anything. No. To be safe is to feel unsafe. Even you as an individual, you must protect yourself. You see some of these communities in the FCCs, they have come up now with ideas of how to assist the police. Form vigilante groups. The police will support you. NSCDC will support you to make sure you patrol. All we want is that you don't take laws into your hand, that I am a vigilante group and I see suspect, I kill. There are some suspects we arrested for killing the suspect. Even we don't kill anyhow. We don't engage in extrajudicial killing. When you have a suspect taken through the processes of the criminal justice system, let the law test its course. Fine. So we only encourage vigilante groups and our various communities, whatever they want to do, let them contact us. We put them through so that they do not run foul of the law. Because if it happens, the law will not pity them that because they want to help, they want to assist, and that's why they are doing this. If you have suspect you want to arrest, you want to go and bust a place, involve the police. The DPOs or DOs of your areas, they are going to support.
Well, there are major hotspots in the FCT from complaints that we've gotten from many people.
Hotspots?
Yes, hotspots.
Or blast spots? Which one do you say? Hotspot or blast spots?
A hotspot, a place where crime and criminality.
We call it blast spot.
You call it black
hotspot.
spot?
That's a language.
Okay.
Maybe in the media you call it hotspot.
Yes.
But the place we say is blast spots. And we are mindful of this. That's why
Area 1, Area 10, Lugbe, Area 2 Plaza, Wuse, Apo, Kubwa. These are places where we've gotten people talk.
The problem
Jabi,
we have...
the city gate, especially the city gate. I'll tell you about that city gate. There's no light. There's no lights. If you're moving from the city gate to Area 1, there's no lights on that place. If you're on foot, you're on your own. Or opposite the stadium, opposite the...
There's no place in every that I don't have. I think we have
No, that place does not have
I think the problem of
lights.
supply is the problem. Maybe when there's no general supply for
I have
the
never
national
seen
grid.
electricity on
But
that
every road is well lit.
No,
Every
that
major
road
roads.
opposite Moshood Abiola Stadium is not lit.
Let me tell you, the major problem you can encounter is when there's no supply, when there's power failure. Definitely it's going to
Is that
affect
constant
the state.
power failure
So
in
I
that
wouldn't know.
neighborhood?
I don't work with the Federal Capital Territory Administration.
City
I
Gate.
work at headquarters, but I know that they are calling attention. I'm sure if you have told the CP and the heads of services in the FCT, they must have told the minister. You agree with me that FCT is taking a new face, a new shape. If they can do construction like opening roads, tarring some of these roads, kidnapping at times, whatever you call it, is the roads are bad. They know definitely you are going to have a stop, or you want to slow down as a driver. They will capitalize on that and hijack you. When we have smooth roads and everywhere is okay, I think it's part of it. And I'm sure the present administration is looking into many areas. I've been told the roads they have resumed constructions now. I can see, even the one coming to your station, I can see fantastic, that's almost 12 lanes. I say, wow, this is beautiful. Apart from the beauty, those things we had, the value they had to FCT beauty, security-wise, is a good thing. And I'm sure where they construct these roads, definitely they're going to light up all these roads. So at night, they'll be well lit.
Because that is the next phase, especially this road that you just talked about.
And majorly all these spots.
If that road is done and that place is lit,
now all these black spots, we are going to have constant rates of black spots. If you can go to the bush.
Constant raids.
If you can go to the bush to raid, you can easily come to the cities to raid black spots. And let me tell you, on a daily basis, with the situation report I get from the Federal Capital Territory, they raid them on a daily basis and they charge them to court. I know there was a month they raided almost 700. I was even saying, 700, and behold, they were charged to court. After screening them, they charge them to court. I think the FCT is becoming Lagos. Everybody wants to stay in Lagos. Now the FCT is becoming more beautiful. Everybody wants to come and stay in the Federal Capital Territory. Whether the person has any means of livelihood or not, they want to come into Abuja. Everybody's Abuja. And that's another problem. In as much as a Nigerian, you have that freedom to move to anywhere. And you can't stop somebody not to come in to FCT, Federal Capital Territory, or any city in Nigeria. There's freedom of movement. You can do whatever you want to do. But we now need to be more vigilant. Who are those that are coming into all these places? And that's why I'm going to say that we're going to fortify our points in and out of the Federal Capital Territory. Right from Giri Airport Junction, going to Gwagwalada, coming to the airport road to this place, and major routes coming in like that, Zubazis, all those in and out, Abuja, we're going to fortify them now. If
it's possible to add to that list, the motor parks inside of Abuja. Because a lot of these motor parks, it's where they sleep. It's where a lot of criminals sleep.
Those ones, you don't need uniformed men to do it. Plainclothes officers, I'm sure the DIG FIB, how they meeting director.
Recreational centers as well. In fact, there are reports that many of the recreational centers have become places where they hibernate. When they finish committing their crimes, they go to recreational centers and rest.
The problem is for us to carry out raids in recreational centers and other things. I think we have not gotten to that stage that Nigerians will understand that we're actually doing what we should.
No, but every time with communication, we will understand.
Every time is
we will understand. Just tell us.
Of human rights.
Tell us afterwards.
We have mandated FCT commands to reach out to engage residents of FCT the more. Regular address, updates of incidences, issues, let them know. Even if we want to do something, we make an announcement. Now, we notice that one chance, we can actually curb one chance with our new system we want to do now. The IGP has given approval to Operation Velvet that every vehicle that will ply a road must be registered. That era has gone that you are going to get a vehicle, you don't register a vehicle for 2 years. It doesn't make any sense. The police has launched electronic ECM app, Central Motor Registry. We have an MOU with the Customs Service. We are working with the Federal Road Safety Corps to see that all vehicles that will ply Nigerian roads must be duly registered. The detail of the owner, the detail of the driver or your driver license will be known. So if anything happens, you have that tendency of committing crime when your vehicle is not registered. Because you know within you that if I hit this man, I will kill you, nothing will happen after I don't get number. It's a common thing. Everybody should just remain calm, pray where necessary, and we act where necessary. The needful must be done to make sure FCT is safe and Nigeria generally is safe. Under the present leadership, I'm so optimistic.
Thanks to my guest, Mr. Muyiwa Adejobi, the Force PRO, and that is a wrap on our security series. We want to thank all of you for watching and being a part of the security conversation here in the FCT. There are a few things I've learned from this security conversation. Don't enter taxis randomly on the street. You're most likely to be robbed by those types of taxis. The FCT needs a 3-digit toll-free number to contact the police and other security agencies. Response times by security agencies need to be improved upon and stated so we can ensure accountability. More boots must remain on the ground in Abuja's suburbs. These porous interstate borders are a problem, especially these mountainous and forested areas, but that's why there's technology. The technological option must be explored to keep these border towns secure and prevent this infiltration of criminals. Platforms through which these ransom payments are made must be held responsible for creating an enabling environment for crime to thrive. And the same goes for network providers that make ransom calls untraceable. And lastly, these security agencies, especially the police, need our help with intelligence and morale boosting. Infrastructure can only be useful in secure locations, And this balancing act must be carried out by the FCT authorities in the coming weeks. Please stay safe. Use the FCT emergency toll-free number showing right now on your screen. And I know they are long numbers, but save it on your phone. You can also reach the FCT authorities on www.myfctgov.ng. Thank you so much for watching. I am Kayla Megwa. See you next time.